It's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the bar room with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. As you can see, and told them hop in when you can if you get on here. But Badge and Bobby are still enjoying their summer break a little bit. Their spring breaks here with as many of you know, Badge's daughter just started college, so he's trying to spend as much time with her as she can, and Bobby's enjoying some nice R&R as well. Captain Bobby, by the way, Captain Bombs, he got promoted this week. So if you guys are, if you guys hit him up on Twitter or whatever, tell him congratulations. He's finally a captain in our Marine Corps, and we're really proud of him here at the Barfly Tailgate Show for sure.
Yeah, congratulations, Bobby. Well.
Yeah. So what's going on, Chris, man? How you doing? How was your week, brother?
Same odd week, mate. In normal life, same odd drab week. But like in NFL life, it's been quite interesting this week. I think a lot's been going on, and also I think it's been quite interesting from the Bears' point of view as well. So all in all, can't grumble, mate. Glad to be back on the show with you, mate.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I'm going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Everybody knows I'm a big Kentucky fan. They showed up to the tournament, and someone forgot to tell them that the tournament had started. So they they end up losing to 15 seed St. Peter's. It was pretty tough for me. St. Patrick's Day, I was pumped up. I went and had me a green beer. As you guys can see in the open, I love me a green beer. It's kind of became a tradition. And then I came home that night to watch the ball game, and I don't know, they just looked out of sorts. They couldn't hit shots.
Right.
That other team, they had, every tournament it seems like there's a little white dude that just knocks down threes, and St. Peter's had that guy this year. But they moved on, and St. Peter's last night actually beat Murray State, which was a team that I was more worried about than St. Peter's. So anything can happen. It's a Cinderella story. I guess good for them, and back to the drawing board for my Kentucky Wildcats. If there's any Purdue fans out there, they did good. Michigan went out and beat Tennessee, and it's March Madness. That's why they call it that. So anything can happen, and I just figured address that first and foremost before we can move on to football. And the NFL, if you ever had a wonder of who was king, they definitely come out and show you what's up when it's middle of March Madness, and we get the Deshaun Watson trade. What else happened? The Rams extended Stafford and traded away. They signed Allen Robinson. And then they traded away Robert Woods, who's a great wide receiver, to the Titans. So the Titans fill that slot. Yeah, they cut Julio, so they fill that slot with Robert Woods, and just crazy NFL news all over. And then I was telling you about this before I hopped on today, Chris. Here, something that Taurine said here. The fake Ian Rappaport on Twitter got me yesterday.
God, weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I talked to Chris about this before we hopped on. I was like, wow, man, they got a lot of people. And I mean, if we sign Teron, good, but I'm on record on here that it's kind of, to me, it's kind of a buyer's beware because
I agree. Yeah.
He's a 31-year-old left tackle who's never played an entire season. And maybe waiting this long has dropped his price some. But if we were going to pay him $20 to $22 million, I was a little worried about that. But I mean, we'll see it.
I mean, sorry, I see.
No, you go right ahead, brother.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you, mate. It's just the fact that the guy never played a full season. And it's left tackle as well, which is like one of the most important positions in the whole team, really. So, no, I was sort of a bit like, oh, right, crap. And then obviously you told me it was 30 this morning. So, I wasn't up for that trade at all anyway, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. And you see it every year. It feels like there's always someone who makes an account that looks or sounds close to an insider, and sometimes they'll get you, man. They'll throw some stuff out there, and next thing you're like, wow, like I mean, when I saw Green Bay, here's another one. When I saw Green Bay trade away Adams, I thought that was a fake account.
you know what, AC, I was exactly the same as well. I was thinking, that happened. I mean, surely with Rodgers decided to stay, then they're going to find a way to make it so he can stay as well. But when I found out with Rio, we were a bit like, yes. At last, one part of the jigsaw's gone. So, I mean, that was a massive trade as well, wasn't it? I mean, he's getting paid now, definitely, with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think he got a 5-year deal, $141 million, which to me, Devontae Adams, I mean, some say he's the best in the league. He's definitely the top 3 wide receiver in the league. There's no argument against that. So he got his bag. He deserved every bit of it. I'm glad that he is no longer terrorizing Bears DBs, but Focheezy's right, man. That puts them in a wide receiver market. Now, the Packers don't seem to draft wide receivers in the first round very often, so maybe they'll change it up, and now that they're listening to Rodgers, maybe they'll get one, and this is a hell of a wide receiver class to get one. But I mean, that's kind of scary, but I mean, you got to take what you can. You not even someone who looks like there's no way they'll be a bust. It doesn't always work out. You know?
You got injuries and anything, haven't you, sir?
Right, absolutely. And I mean, some of these top wide receivers in this class went through injuries. You know, Jameson Williams at Alabama, he's a great. I mean, he was a top 10 wide receiver before. I think he either had an ACL or an Achilles.
Right.
So he might not even be able to play this whole year. You know, he'd be a later addition.
But I could actually see Julio Jones actually going to the Green Bay Packers. I can see him fitting there, actually. Julio Jones actually goes to the Green Bay Packers.
And I was talking to one of my old Army friends. He's a Packers fan, and I had texted him when they signed Rodgers. I was like, damn, y'all going to get everybody back together, aren't you? He was like, duh. And then when Adams got traded, I texted him back. I was just like, Adams with the big eyes emoji? And he was like, dude, I'm crying. And I was like, but that's
last
what he
got
said.
A chance to put a middle finger up.
Right. That's what he said though. He's like, we can get Julio, Juju, and Jarvis for the price of Adams. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. And I just don't. And he said, just like I feel, I don't know if Julio's got anything left, man.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask you, AC. So I was thinking, would it be worth the Bears taking him on for 1 year? But then I was thinking, has he still got it in the tank? I mean, he has been an absolute awesome talent. But you just think, I mean, is he 30 plus now? In his age?
I'm not sure his exact age, and I'm not going to sit here and Google on air. But if we had another host here, maybe I would. But I don't know what his age is, but I feel like his hamstrings have been acting up the last 2 to 3 years.
Right.
He's just not the same guy he was in Atlanta, and it's sad. Father Time's undefeated though, except for Tom Brady. I think he's got some sort of elixir to keep Father Time on the back burner because he just.
I don't think he's from this earth, mate. I think he's from like a different planet, and he's been put in disguise as Tom Brady, the super physical alien. But hats off to Tom Brady, mate. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like him because of what things went on in New England with deflating a ball and whatever. But you got to give it to the guy, man. He just got dropped in talent or what he produced.
He's the GOAT, man.
He is definitely. Yeah.
And I mean, you saw guys like Montana and stuff. I'm a little bit younger than you, so you saw those older guys, the Montanas, the even guys I work with that are Steeler fan. They love Terry Bradshaw. He brought them 4 Super Bowls or whatever. So you've had these past era GOATs, and yes, the game has changed. The quarterbacks are not getting slung around like they were when the '85 Bears were slamming through your offensive line, but it's still to do it at his age, 45 years old. I mean, I'm 33, and I wouldn't want to go out there for one game. You know what I mean? And
you think about it as well. It's his motivation. What keeps him motivated? Because he could just get a hit. What could give him a really bad injury and affect the rest of his life? So you just got to think, where's his continual motivation to stay at the top? That's the thing. What's kept him going.
It's just got to be a personal drive. I mean,
it's got to be, man. It's got to be.
And he said unfinished business on his return tweet, and I was just like, "What's unfinished, dude? You've got more rings.
What more do you want?"
He's got more rings than any franchise. You know what I'm saying? Than any organization in the NFL. Like, is 10 the goal? Is that what you're shooting for? What is it?
You just think, Tom. You're the greatest quarterback who ever played. You got a fantastic looking wife. Your kids seem really nice. What more do you want, mate? Come on, give a little bit out to us, little normal people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but we saw it here in Chicago, dude. We saw Jordan keep a lot of great players in the 90s from getting rings. You know what I mean? The Malone and Stockton out in Utah, they were great, and they never got a ring because Jordan was like, "It ain't gonna happen while I'm here, bro." And that's why the GOAT conversation in basketball to me stops right there. LeBron ain't stopped anybody from getting rings, really. I mean, other than maybe Derrick Rose because we had him for that one good year. But I mean, who else has he stopped from getting rings other than building a super team in Miami or whatever? Yeah, man, there's so much crazy news in the NFL, and we signed a few free agents, and we had a signature in place with. I'm gonna try my best not to butcher this. I've been practicing it since we signed him.
Because I've written it down. I was thinking, I hope somebody goes in front of me before I have to say this guy's name. I really did.
Yeah.
Go on.
Now that he was able to failed his physical, I
you don't
only should have to say this once. Larry Ogunjobi failed his physical.
That's good. Ogunjobi,
will no longer be the Bears defensive tackle, which is sad. You guys know I live in Kentucky. I'm less than an hour from Cincinnati. So the local games, if I'm not watching the Bears, if I don't go somewhere to watch the Bears, the local games are the Bengals games. So I saw quite a bit of this guy. And what I saw was tenacious pass rush. He was always busting through the line. and busting his ass to get after the quarterback or the running, whoever's got the ball. I mean, the pass rush from the middle of the line, I was really excited to have that as our 3 technique. But I mean, the doctors see something, and it's smart on the Bears to say, hey, we're not going to sign this guy. And then like when we signed Pernell McPhee, I mean, we didn't see him for like the first, half the year or something. He had his knee acting up already. So,
sorry, go on. Ace, I was thinking, surely the player himself must know before he went for that medical with the Bears, he's probably not going to pass it. Because it must have been something what's quite obvious to the doctor to actually not pass him for a medical.
Maybe. I'm really not sure.
I'm not as well.
From everything I understood, they said that the surgery had went well, but that's the only thing I could think. That's the only thing that I could think would kick him back. Maybe, and maybe one doctor says you're good to go, and our doctor was like, "I'm not going to take the chance on it. You shouldn't either, especially for the money that we decided to give him." I mean, I thought it was worth it, but I think we were giving him $13 million a year or something like that. So, 28-year-old guy, he's definitely got time to bounce back if he's able to get back healthy. And I'm hoping for the best for him. Maybe he's the guy that we call later on down the road and say, "Hey,
could be possibly,
you're healthy. If you're still interested, we're still interested."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, but we did sign some free agents this week.
We did.
Not Teron Armstead. We did sign Al-Quadin Muhammad. I think the Bears have went out on a limb to try and get me to mess up as many Bears names as I can this offseason.
I'm literally right behind you, AC. It's our accents. That's what it is. You've got the Kentucky, and I've got the Yorkshire accent. So I think that goes against us straight away a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Aldo loaded up some clips for me with some of these guys, and I checked them to make sure that they work, but the sound doesn't work. And I don't know if that's for copyright purposes or what, but I'm going to run this Al-Quadin Muhammad clips first.
From the Rams.
This is a defensive end from Indianapolis. He
meets
back up. Right. He meeting back up with Eberflus here in Chicago. So here he is up here on the top playing against the Texans, it looks like, who had a rough season too. But, I mean, just keeps fighting toward it, and he's getting hooked and everything, and grabs the quarterback there and gets up and does a money dance, I guess. And
he's got a good set of wheels on him. He's got a really good set of wheels, and he's got a good technique as well. I like how he gets out from a block and he never stops, does he really? He's one of these people, plays until right to the end of the whistle, which is ideal for that position.
Yeah, he's got a good motor, and he can. He showed the ability there to get the tackle going one way and flip under him the other way. And I guess that's all we have of him. Those are both Texans, which I mean, the Texans aren't in a very good spot either. I mean, they're trading away everything. They've got Lovie Smith trying to turn it around up there. I wish Lovie the best of luck, but
I do. I think he's got a really hard job, mate.
Right. And we signed a fullback. A lot of people are excited about this fullback. You excited about a fullback, Chris?
This is like Matsui days back in the 80s.
Right. But, a little bit of a
throwback. What I mean? But I'm quite surprised because I thought the fullback was a redundant position in the NFL these days. So I'm quite surprised we did it. But more on the running backs is always good for me. I mean, I was a running back a long time ago, and always liked having a good fullback in front of me, that old-fashioned I formation. So I don't know much about the guy, to be honest with you, AC. So if you know anything about him, please fill me in.
His name is Khari Blasingame or Blasingame. I don't know how exactly that's. Like I said, they're trying their damnedest to fuck me up this offseason with pronouncing these guys' names. But I got some clips of him too. That
cool.
Shout out to Aldo. He texted me last night. He's like, I got some clips loaded up for you guys for some free agents. So definitely shout out to him doing his producer thing out there. And so let's take a look at this fullback, see what he's got. Now, fullback clips aren't going to be a lot of blocking, I don't think. So it'll probably be a lot of pass catches, I would assume. Oh, here he is right against us, right off the bat. he sneaks out into the flat, and then he's got some speed on him, man. You don't usually expect that with a full.
He's got a really good speed on him, and also as well, he's not slow, is he? He's not just a guy that's just going to do a bit of blocking. He's an athlete. Yeah, I'm impressed with that. I know it's only one play, but and also as well, I like his running style, how he cut back. So yeah.
I guess he played for the Vikings too. So we see him getting the ball and going right up the middle. Yeah, and how many times do we see our guys get up to the 1 or 2 yard line and they couldn't finish it out? So
no, but if that had been if that had been the Bears last year, mate, it would have been some sort of crappy reverse, wouldn't it, or a halfback pass or something.
No, it was Nagy. He loved that. He loved that tight end pitch. You bring the tight end around and pitch it to him.
That's it, yeah.
Just a little flick. Yeah. See if he can get in.
Thank God that's gone.
Mm-hmm. So it's good to have another lead blocker for David Montgomery and I forgot our other running back for a second there.
I have
Herbert, Khalil Herbert. So get another lead blocker in there for them and a guy that can catch balls out of the backfield and pretty athletic dude. I
was impressed by his physique and how he moved and his speed as well. I mean, he didn't look like a slow fullback at all. You could see he could. He could if he started running on a defense, he'd wear them down after a couple of drives. You know what I mean? If we got into position at the end of the game where we need to control the clock a bit, he'd be ideal for that.
Oh yeah. You get to that fourth quarter, you're trying to run that 4-minute offense, kill some clock, and keep the lead. And I mean, I feel like it's a good move, And the thing I like about Poles is he's not like the Jacksonville Jaguars are out of their fucking minds.
Oh, they're going completely bonkers, aren't they?
They're just throwing money at whoever, whoever walks in the door. Here's whatever you want, brother. And Poles and he said this on Carmen and Yurko the day he was introduced as our GM. He said we have to be smart and disciplined at free agency, and I feel like he's sticking to that. He's not giving out big long contracts. He's not signing a bunch of older aging players. I think I saw a statistic yesterday that said he hasn't signed a single player over 28 this offseason.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
And Ryan Pace just last offseason signed 4 guys that were older than 30 in free agency. So he's got a different philosophy and he realizes it's a rebuild. I wasn't sure of it until I saw us trade Mac and start cutting players. And I was like, well, it might be a long season this year, but we're looking, we're kind of tearing it down to build it back up. I feel like. I mean,
basically what he's doing is basically what he's doing is he's setting up the foundations of what's going to come in probably the next 2 years. And I like that he's actually sticking to what he's saying. And I like the way that I like the decision he's made so far. It was what I was expecting, really. Sort of, he seemed to have picked a lot of players who have played maybe a couple of years in the NFL and just had like a really good last season. So it feels like he's getting them as the sort of, cusping the wave, getting to like maybe the peak could be another season on. So I'm quite impressed with the guy. I'm impressed with what he's done so far.
Yeah, he's getting guys in that's got a chip on their shoulder, something to prove.
Yeah, which I like. Yeah.
And this next clip that I have, I feel like it's a big one. It's one that I'm excited about. It's Byron Pringle out of Kansas City. He sat behind Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill, of course, and just kind of waited his turn. He made some plays last year. I don't know if it'll be in this clip, but he had like 101-yard kickoff return. So he gives you versatility with special teams and wide receiver, but I'll just roll the clip and we'll see what we got here. Byron Pringle, one I can pronounce. So this is going to show his route running ability. And I mean, it helps having Mahomes at quarterback that can move around and do incredible things, but just being able to get open and have, show him a body to throw to.
And it's also Yeah, he's played a little bit inside as well, so hopefully that means he don't mind taking a just like this one here, where he's just gone in a little quick in, and he don't mind going in the middle of the field, which is is always a good sign with wide receivers. He don't mind taking that big hit, and he's got really nice moves as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if these are all from the playoff game. At least so far it has been, and I mean Pittsburgh's a team that I feel like we should have beat last year, but things didn't work out at the end.
That was dreadful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when Justin Fields threw that dime, I was like, yeah, we deserve to win this, man. And I remember I stayed up that whole night watching that game.
I did as well.
And I had to work the next morning. So I was like, oof. I think I had to get up like 4 hours after the end of the game.
Especially after that happens as well. It's when you get up after like a game like that's happened, it's sort of hard. It's like double harder, isn't it? To get yourself motivated to get going for the day. You're just thinking, God damn it, you know what I mean? So I was with you that morning, mate. It was a very late night, a very early morning.
Yeah. Jamal, I like this linebacker too. Unfortunately, Aldo didn't have any clips loaded up for me of the linebacker. But I have seen some things on,
I have as well.
On Twitter that some people have posted. I feel like they're going to try and put him in the middle and have Roquan as the weak side backer. The strong side backer doesn't it's not as prominent of a position, so they can grab an undrafted free agent or a late round draft pick or a later free agent to plug in there if they don't think they have it on the roster already. What's his name? Morrow, something like that. But I don't know how much playing time he got. I know he got hurt in the playoff game against the Bengals. And he said he would have been healthy enough if they'd have won to play the next week.
I mean, what I heard is again he's been players we're getting better in his last couple of seasons, even though he had a bit of an injury last season. So what I saw, he looked really good. But obviously, you've seen the highlights, aren't you, of the guy? But he looked really good physically. He played the ball really well. Seems to read the field well. So I think with the new scheme, what they're bringing in, I think it could be ideal there, AC.
Yeah, what Matthew said here, the former safety, I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say he's Urlacher, but, Urlacher was a safety at New Mexico State.
Yeah.
New Mexico. So when he comes in and the way they can run this defense and they need that middle linebacker to cover so much of the field, it helps to have the versatility a safety's got, a safety that's got the speed of a corner and the size of a linebacker. That's
and also able to read the game as well, like a safety can only benefit as well in that scheme.
Yeah. I tried to get some of Patrick as well. The center we signed. Well, it said center guard when we signed him, and I guess
Lucas Patrick.
Yeah, I guess at his introductory press conference, he said he would be playing center for the Chicago Bears. So we definitely saw that we need an upgrade at that position all season.
Definitely.
Love Mustipher, homegrown guy from Notre Dame, but I don't think he's good enough to be a starter. He's a good depth guy to keep, I think.
Definitely.
But he said that he is going to be the center, and I like what I've seen on Twitter of some of his tape. He has the ability to get out, and pull if they do need a guard. I haven't looked at snaps or anything like that to see if he's had any issues snapping the ball like we saw with Whitehair.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's played quite a few positions on the offensive line. So that's just got to be a big bonus as well in case we get a few injuries or whatever can happen through a season. So, and he seems like an O-line what's got a bit of an attitude to him as well, which I absolutely love. So I think that's a really good signing for Bears. And also as well, he's also worked with the OC we've got now as well. So that's going to benefit us as well.
Yeah, I like what Fucci said here. He's hitting on all kinds of points today. Just being a big, nasty offensive lineman. I mean, last year when we saw Tevin Jenkins was the only one to stick up for his quarterback, and he gets fucking yelled at for it by Fetty, who thank God he's gone. But yeah, you need big, nasty dudes on that line that just don't they have no regard for human life, as they used to say. Like that's what I like, man. I like get up to that second level and smash somebody. You
It's
wake
when you
up
see
every
them
morning.
pancake people. I love it. When the pancake maybe like a DB or something, and it's just such a joy to watch. And I like people who are aggressive and motivated. What seemed to be lacking a lot of our offensive linemen last season.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what they do with Tevin Jenkins this season. See where they see him at. I had heard some. I don't remember where I listened to so much. I have so much information that I listen to via podcast that sometimes it's an information overload, and I don't remember where I heard it. But I heard. I want to say it was from the Hogan Johns podcast. They talked to scouts last year at the combine,
right?
Or during the draft or after the draft or something. And not a single one of them that they spoke to saw Tevin Jenkins as a left tackle. So
that's
if
what
our
I heard
guys,
as well.
If our guys are step for step with all those guys, you would imagine Tevin Jenkins would probably be your right tackle. Maybe Borum's your right guard. I don't know. But I like Borum too. I like what I saw of him last year.
Do you think they're going to still draft? Do you think they're still going to draft an O-lineman then? AC.
They could, depending on how the way the draft falls. What I would really like to see is I'd love to see us trade back that 39th pick and maybe pick up a 4th rounder because we don't have that currently. But if we do stay put with our 2 second-round picks, I'd love to see them get an offensive lineman with one of those and a wide receiver with the other one.
I'm exactly the same.
Depending on how the board falls. I feel like you really need, even though we've brought in these wide receivers, we really don't have a wide receiver 1. I mean, unless you force Mooney into that position, which he may be able to do. I mean, I'm not saying that he can't, but I would prefer a guy with a little more size, like I spoke last week of a Christian Watson or George Pickens is starting to move up draft boards. Maybe we can grab him with the second round pick or a 3rd or something like that. And he played at Georgia. He's really good. It'll be interesting to see how the board falls.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly the same regarding wide receiver. I think this draft is so deep with wide receivers that you might as well get one through the draft, or maybe 2, get like one in the second and one in one of the lower picks. But I would exactly the same as you, AC. Another offensive lineman, another wide receiver, and then I'll be probably thinking about defensive back after them 2 picks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. There are some good DBs as well, but I feel like it's kind of top heavy when I look at it. You've got Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. He's probably a top 10 draft pick. I mean, he's done at Cincinnati is just his job, which is what you look for, and he's got all the traits, all the intangibles, and he's a good kid. Someone that Danny Shimon and Neil Stopchinski have talked about a lot is Roger McCreary out of Auburn, and I listened to an interview with him on the Draft Dudes podcast. Shout out to Paige DeMaco's Friend of the Barroom. They've got a really good, solid podcast out there called Draft Dudes, where they break down the tape and they talk about prospects, and that's right up my alley. But they talked to Roger McCreary. I think it was at the combine when they spoke to him, and he just sounds like a good old boy that he eats a plate of baked beans every day before the game. Like,
but doesn't he also put in loads of sugar onto the baked beans? Am I right there?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know you Americans like your sweet and sour, sort of sugary and savory, man. But fucking sugar on baked beans, man. What the fuck?
But I don't know. I'll throw some barbecue sauce on my beans, But actually, I'm grilling out today. It's supposed to be almost 70. I went.
All right, nice. So is it the first
yesterday?
Awesome, mate. Is it the first of the season then?
I threw some chicken on the grill a week or so ago when it got up to 70, but this is the first one where I'm gonna be able to. Like, I made that for work the next week. I was like, I could throw this on some salad or whatever, throw a little grilled chicken on a salad. I like that. I got some burgers and stuff for today, and that's the plan for this afternoon.
Nice,
is throw some burgers on the grill, grab a couple ice cold brewskis, and and do it up. You know what I mean? Country boy style.
Mate, that sounds ideal to me, man. If I were remotely in the same area as you, AC, I'd be knocking on your door for a burger.
Brother, you'd have that. It'd be an open invite, I promise you. Yeah, I'm trying to see what some of the chat guys are talking about over here. I'm seeing a lot of O-line talk, which we already talked. Aldo posted on here what he thinks. Jenkins at right tackle, Borum right guard, Patrick at center, Whitehair guard, and then acquire a left tackle. That's very possible, Aldo, and it's a good spot. It kind of hurts you to try and draft a left tackle because we don't have a first round pick, and typically that's where those guys go. When I've seen a lot, I've been looking at mock drafts, and you usually see, I mean, within the first 5 picks, you've got 2 to 3 left tackles, which for us looking for a wide receiver kind of helps because that'll push those guys down the board, or even a guard. Like one of the guys that I'm in love with is Darian Kennard, obviously Kentucky guy. He played right tackle here at Kentucky, but he is projected to be a guard more in the league. And we played Liam Cohen's offensive system last year, who went back to the Rams this year for their OC job. So it's kind of that same system, and it'll just depend on how they grade him and how they look at him. But as far as the left tackle, man, I just don't know. Like we talked about Teron Armstead earlier. I like him. I worry about his injuries. Like I said, he's never finished a full season. So it would depend on what his price range is. I liked Lael Collins, who the Cowboys released. I don't think he's.
I was just going to ask you about him. Yeah, is he a guard or a tackle?
He plays tackle. Actually, they tried to push him into guard. They tried to push him into guard in Dallas, and he wasn't a big fan of being moved around.
He's a big guy, man. I like it. I do. Yeah, I've completely. I realised who you're on about now, and he's a beast, isn't he? He's a beast of a human. So I don't know. I mean, would he be a very expensive free agent to get, or is he quite up there in age? I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure what his price range is, but I was reading on Twitter, I think, that he was visiting the Bengals. So he might be a guy who's looking for a ring. So and everyone who saw the Bengals last year, they knew they needed O-line. So if they can get the O-line situated, you would assume that they'd be right back in the thick of things.
You'd have thought so, definitely, yeah.
I mean, that division's going to be a little crazy this year. You got Lamar Jackson coming back for the Ravens. You've got, the Bengals just went to the Super Bowl, and now they added Deshaun Watson in Cleveland.
Mitch. And the mighty Mitch with the Steelers.
Yeah, Mitch with the Steelers. Mitch Bird. But, like I said, there's guys at work that are Steelers fans that I've spoke to, and I was like, did you see who you guys signed? And they were like, well, no, who? And I was like, you guys got Mitch. And I heard 2 different reactions from two different Steelers fans. One of the guys, he's a little older. He's the one I was talking about that's a big Terry Bradshaw fan. And, so he's up there in age. But he was like, I can dig that. All
right.
He was like, I think he got a raw deal in Chicago. We all saw that Matt Nagy was an idiot. And I was like, yeah, I can agree with that. If you need a guy who can kind of steady the ship and be a game manager, I think Trubisky can do that. And with the weapons they have, he might be okay. But I just feel like the other 3 teams got so much better. I don't know. I don't know what the Steelers are going to be able to do. But in my opinion, they got the best coach in the division. So,
definitely, yeah.
It'll definitely be we'll have to see how that goes in the AFC North. That'll be something to watch for. But the AFC is just nuts. And the AFC West, my goodness, those dudes are loading up. The Chargers, Brandon Staley out there is loading up to go after the Chiefs, bro. And that'll be they might get 3 teams into the playoffs this year.
I could think that could happen, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've all got the quarterbacks now, haven't they? Really? There's no team there, who's got a very weak quarterback. I mean, I like Derek Carr, and I know like he gets a bit of a bum rush sometimes, but that division is stacked for quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we're not in that division because, oh God, we'd be definitely 4th.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Aldo put this up too. Greg Gabriel says chances of trading Robert Quinn increase with the acquisition of Muhammad. Bears would have 3 second-round picks. And he had texted me that yesterday, but I wasn't sure if it was public knowledge because I haven't listened to all of Greg Gabriel's show yet. I started listening to it before I hopped on, but I haven't finished it. I promise you, Greg, I'll get on and finish it after this show's over. But I mean, if we trade him off, I know I listened to Carmen and Yurko. Yurko was talking about calling the Eagles and see if they're interested. They've got 3 first-round picks. I mean, they're all kind of lower first-round picks. I think it's like 16, 17, and 20 or something like that. So just see if they're interested. What are they going to do? Tell you no, I guess. So, or even if we get a second, then you'd have 3 second-round picks. You can maybe move around. Maybe you can move yourself back up into the first round and grab maybe a left tackle that's falling. Although man, it's tough to see when I'm seeing mock drafts and I'm seeing Iquanu like first or second, and I'm seeing Evan Neal as the other one, and you're seeing I think his name's Charles Cross, the left tackle out of Mississippi State. You're seeing him going in the top 7. And then even a guy that Neil loves in Trevor Pennington, I think it is, from northern Iowa, I want to say. I mean, I'm seeing him top 12, and that's a guy who when the offseason started, I was hoping there was a chance he could fall within striking reach of us to trade up to get. And I just don't see us being able to get up that high enough to grab a left tackle. But I mean,
I don't think we're going to trade up to the first round. I've just got a feeling they're going to stick to what they've got, or maybe trade down and get like you said before, get another pick in the 3rd or 4th round. But
I mean, if we stick with the picks that we have, I don't see us trading up. No. But if we're able to trade Quinn for another 2nd-round pick, then you've got 3 second-round picks. You can move around some, is what I was saying. Maybe you can move a couple of those 2nd-rounders, get up into the 1st, keep that 2nd-rounder, or even trade back and pick up a 4th or something. I have no idea. Oh, look at Don. He's got some inside information. Iquanu might be Detroit. That's what I'm telling y'all. It's buzzing. So Detroit O-line goes from top 5 to dominant. I'll be completely honest with you. If you guys are able to pick up a left tackle in Detroit, look out. I mean, to me, you build through the trenches. You've got to get pressure on the quarterback, and you got to protect the quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback's the most important position on the field. But if you're able to protect an above average quarterback, he can push you up to the next level. I'm about to cough my head off, so I apologize if you can take it away some, Chris.
And I'll just say laughing like an idiot. No, I completely agree with what AC was saying. I mean, it showed through the NFL history that you don't need a top class quarterback. If you get somebody who's above medium level, who's probably like maybe a top 15 quarterback, if you got the O-line and the scheme, then you can go all the way. How about you, AC? You still with us?
Yeah, I'm good now. I like what Fulchisi says here, that we need a corner and a safety. I think we need a quarterback.
Yeah,
I've said it since the offseason started. To me, it's O-line, wide receiver, corner, and then I guess you can throw safety in there. And I listened to Draft on Tap last week, and they had a very interesting conversation about cornerback or safety, which way would you go? And a lot of it fell back to, remember when we had Adrian Amos back there, we had a really good 1-2 punch at safety. But, I mean, Adrian Amos was drafted in the 5th round. So, like, you can almost feel like you can grab a guy like that late, or they're not really valued as much as a corner. We just saw Landon Collins become a cap casualty in Washington. I mean, he played with Eddie Jackson at Bama, so maybe we can get him down here and load them back up, or the Honey Badger.
The Honey Badger would be great, wouldn't it? But I don't know. Is he out of our sort of pay structure, what we're trying to do at the moment? But I do like him, man. He's like me. He's like a little, a little guy who likes to get in there, and he's a good tackler. And I think he's quite a good leader of players as well. I mean, I think he, deals with a lot of the play calling for the DBs for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I've always liked him, man. I like his story. I think he's matured as a person off the field, which I think is a big deal in these days. So I'd be up for that trade, but I've just got a feeling he might be slightly out of what Paul's really wants to be spending.
Yeah, that would be interesting to watch. When he was at LSU, he kind of had off the field issues.
That's right, yeah.
Immature, and I think he got suspended for a year for something as well, if I
did.
remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Then
yeah.
then he came into the league and he kind of started getting more mature. And in Kansas City, something happened in Kansas City where it just clicked, I feel like. And his maturity level went all the way up. He became a leader, just like you said. He flies all over the field. He gets turnovers. I love the guy. I liked him at LSU when he wasn't even as mature as he is now. And now I just feel like he's even better. But like you said, he might be out of our price range a little bit. And his age, I think he's 30. So, I mean, if we're looking to compete, I don't see us competing this year. But if you're looking to compete the next year or two after that,
I see what you mean.
Having a safety that's like 32, 33, I mean, maybe it'll work. Maybe he's athletic enough to.
I mean, it does seem to me that a lot of players are managing to play to an older age. Compared to say when I was younger, in the 80s, everybody seemed to play not to a very old age. But I mean, obviously that's just due to how good the athletes are, the training and all that. So what surprised me if he could keep going for the next 2-3 years, at a good level.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted trying to read the comments over here. Don Burr's going nuts talking about a Pro Bowl joke. Hollering Roquan was snubbed earlier. Roquan was snubbed. How can you argue against that? Look at his stats, Don. He had better stats than Pro Bowl linebackers. So I'm not sure what you're getting at there. And honestly, this year, and I was texting the guys about this last week in our group text. As a Bears fan, I think we'll be talking about the offseason probably by week 6. I just don't see us having a great year. We might be the worst team in the division this year, but hopefully we'll see that building into something. We'll have a ton of cap space going into the offseason. You'll have extra draft picks. We'll probably get a comp pick for the Allen Robinson. If Golden gets a big deal, we might get a comp pick for that as well. And we see the best teams in the league being able to work with that comp pick strategy.
That's right,
of letting guys go past their prime and getting the comp picks for them and hitting on those picks. You've got to hit in the draft. That's why we're in this in the first place. Ryan Pace couldn't hit in the draft, then he would overpay in free agency to make up for his draft mistakes. And it just got us into a big mess with not having draft picks and not having salary cap space and all this stuff. So
I mean, it's like I think I mentioned it last week. I think this year it's just sort of plug and play, but and then obviously with all the cap money, like you're just going through AC, 2023, and that should be the start of something. But hopefully we'll have a long period of time of their success. But I think we will struggle this season coming. But I also know that we'll finish above Detroit. So that's all I'm going to say, Donny boy.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can finish above Detroit, but I honestly, I like
Detroit. I love Detroit as well.
Yeah, I like what they're building out there. I feel like they're drafting well, and I like the coach that they hired. They all play well they play hard for Dan Campbell, even in a game that doesn't matter. Week 17, they could have lost that game and got the number 1 pick, and they were like, no, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna do our job. Yeah. Whether it's Jordan Love lining up on that other side or Aaron Rodgers or whoever, we're going to go out here and do our job, which you got to commend them for that. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, and they got all these draft picks. Honestly, I've heard rumors of maybe if you like Malik Willis enough, the quarterback out of Liberty, Maybe you could grab him at even as high as number 2 just to keep him from going somewhere else, Don. I don't know. You would probably know more about what's going on in Detroit than I would, because I don't really go on their podcasts or anything like you do with the Bears. So do you go on Detroit podcasts, or you look at the Bears podcast? Because I see you in here, and I've seen you in some other Bears podcasts. So I don't know if you're just a troll or if you actually pay attention to what your Lions are doing as well. I would like some information on that if you guys are interested in Malik Willis. I think he's a good prospect. He's not as good as if he was in the draft class last year, it would have been Lawrence, Fields, Zach Wilson, and then probably Malik Willis after that. And then you'd have Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He just doesn't have the athletic traits that those other quarterbacks have, So he's kind of limited.
I do like him though. I think he's always going to be very consistent, Matt Jones. And I think he's got a good control of our offense. I mean, obviously they've gone similar to what Tom Brady was like as a player. I think with Matt Jones, but I could see him being a good player for a long time if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he went to the perfect situation.
I do, definitely.
He came from Alabama. He was actually, when he was coming out recruiting, it was between Alabama and Kentucky, and he chose to go to Alabama, which, I mean, but it's a different system. It's like when Kentucky comes calling for a basketball player, a lot of times they get the guy because it's Kentucky. It's when Alabama comes calling. When Alabama comes calling, you got to go for it, especially if you're running back, line or offensive lineman, and the way they're running their system now, because they adapted down there. Nick Saban realized his old way wasn't going to work. They've adapted to a passing system, and then they were able to get guys and help them succeed and just continue to roll tide, I guess you would say.
That's right. Yeah, they are consistent in winning. I'll give you that. My God.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to argue with, especially if I'm on the other side with my basketball team. When I see it, I think.
AC, you've got to let it go, mate. You've got to let it go.
I'll never let it go, brother. It's difficult.
You've got to let it go, mate. It's going to boil in you.
Well, I'm working on an article on Calipari.
All right,
so
cool.
It's kind of been on my mind. I started writing for a website called mentaldimes.com. I wrote an article, I think last week, over the Deshaun Watson before he was traded. It was like the top 5 landing spots for him. And I put that out there. It's a new up and coming company, and I enjoy writing, and they're
awesome.
They're going to pay me on views as opposed to the other company I was writing for. Like, I needed subscriptions to get paid, and it just
I remember you saying,
it just wasn't working out because they, and I'm the same way. I'm not going to subscribe if I can either read it. If I can read it for free, I can either read it for free or I can go somewhere else and get the information. That's probably what I'm going to do. Like, The Athletic is probably the only thing that I subscribe to that I'm
right.
And I only do that because I follow several sources there. Hogan Johns, you got your
you like the writers.
Yeah, the football podcast. They cover the draft well. They and that's the only reason why I subscribe to The Athletic. But I'm going off on tangents here, and I do apologize.
But you'll have to tweet out when your article's out, AC. Because I enjoyed one of the first articles you did when you were doing it for the other company. So mate, I'll have a look for that and have a read about this afternoon.
Yeah, it should be on my Twitter feed somewhere.
Cool.
Because I tweeted it out this last week. So we've gone over our free agents. We've talked a little bit about some of our draft prospects that we've looked at.
AC, what's the name of the wide receiver we've got from Green Bay?
See, like I told you, Equanimous St. Brown.
God, yes.
He is a 6'5" wide receiver, formerly of Is it the University of Notre Dame or Notre Dame
I think
University?
so, yeah. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
So he's from Notre Dame. I remember seeing him down there. He was good, but not great. It seemed like he's got good size, pretty good speed. He obviously enjoyed Getsy's system because he followed him over here along with Lucas Patrick. So we'll see how it works. I think he's like a wide receiver 4, probably, maybe a 3.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, maybe like middle of the road, sort of middle of the group, really. Because I don't think he's never had like a massive season, has he, statistically wise. But I think you're right. I think he'll be sort of in the middle of the wide receiver group. But we need wide receivers, don't we? So
we needed bodies.
We're desperate for them. We're desperate. So let's see what happens. But yeah, well done on the pronunciation, mate. Because I kept going. Can I say it? Can I?
Man, they really went for the
They really have got us
this
year.
So maybe we should look through the draft and do some scouting that way. Like, who's got the weirdest fucking name here?
Yeah, who's going
to be in that area? Who's going to be in that area that's got a weird name? We'll go off of that.
Yeah, you don't seem to get any more like Brad Starbucks anymore or anything like that anymore, do you really? So no, it's all good, mate, and well done. I was like going, I could probably get away with that one.
I had heard somewhere what his name meant. It's got a meaning.
All right,
and it's like stoic and strong or something like that. Like
I think I saw that on one of the networks. What's quite cool, mate. I'd love to have a name actually means something. I mean, mine don't mean it. Christopher don't really mean anything. You know what I mean? So, it'd be quite cool to have a name where you can go, yeah, my name is this, and it means something really deep and thoughtful. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, you don't get that, Chris.
My name means honorable in Japanese or something like no,
wow.
it's Aaron. I'm just but and St. Brown, his younger brother's up there in Detroit, and I think he's better. Shout out to you, Don.
All right,
you guys got the better St. Brown. But it is what it is. We'll see what he does. He's got good size, good speed. We'll see what he can do. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers, for as great as he was, we saw him lock into Devontae Adams, which who can blame him? He's probably the best receiver in the league. But there were plays that we saw other wide receivers open, not even getting looked at because he was locked in on throwing to Adams, whether he's double covered, triple covered, safety over the top. Didn't matter. He was going to fit it in there. And so maybe a fresh start will help him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And I also think as well, like, our views on players is like sometimes we forget that players can improve. Just because the player's been so, it don't mean that guy, if he makes the right decisions and puts the work in, and obviously got the talent, can't improve. And sometimes I feel like with sport that we write people off too quickly sometimes.
I missed what you were saying there. I'm sorry.
Oh man, that was like a massive big monologue as well. I can't repeat all that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was. This is difficult. I'm learning how to produce you guys, just so you guys pull back the curtain. So I'm seeing the comments going up on the side, and I'm trying to listen to you at the same time. I haven't got it down pat like Aldo yet.
No, mate. He's got slightly more experience than you, mate, in it so far.
Yeah, a little bit. And I'm sorry, man. I know you were talking, and I was listening, but
yeah, it's all right, mate, because I've completely forgot what we're on about anyway. so it wasn't really that important to me, and probably not important to the wider world. What I've just given my little spiel on, but no, you've been doing great today, mate, on the old production side. So don't put yourself down, because imagine taking all the information and all the time. It's there's definitely some sort of special talent to doing it.
Well, I do appreciate it, man. I try to keep up with stuff and stay informed, and whether it's my team or another team. Like I said, my first article for that website was about Deshaun Watson, who's not even my team, not even going to my team. But I was able to, and it's kind of difficult sometimes to look at something unbiased, and I'm trying to learn how to do that. I wanted to ask Aldo how maybe Neil Stopchinski does that as a scout.
Yeah.
Because I know he
Yeah.
works for Mississippi State. How does he not just go, yeah, that's my Mississippi State guy. I love him. Like I do with my Kentucky guys. I know I'll be biased toward Kentucky guys, excuse me. But I just and that's something I would like to learn. Maybe someday Neil and Danny will wake up early and come on an AC show and tell me all about it. Maybe,
I'm actually quite good at that regarding the NFL because, like when I first came on the show, I was mentioning, how I grew up watching NFL and all this, and how it was such a big thing in this country. But because I was a Bears fan, but we're also an NFL fan as well, so I've always been quite good to able to be quite sort of open with my viewpoints, or not to get into like I'm a Bears fan and get too tunnel vision. So I've always liked players from different teams, and I've got tops of players from different teams. You know what I mean? Who I like. So I've always sort of seen it as the NFL and the Chicago Bears as well. So you'll do it, mate. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of just being just sort of seeing things in a balanced way, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't have much more to talk about unless you do. I mean,
not really, mate.
We can do some shout outs here and and then hit the road for the day. And
cool, mate.
Get ready to grill some burgers up this afternoon. So that's what I'm.
You know what you saw, because I live in an apartment, so we do have like a balcony, like a shared balcony, but well, no, it probably wouldn't be a good idea. I'd probably set some on fire. Knowing my luck, I really would. You'd have to get KB out from Indianapolis to come over and rescue me. I really would do. I mean, it's sort of in a city centre. It's a city centre apartment block, really. So, I might have to go to McDonald's a bit down market just to get a bit of a burger fix now. See.
Hey. As long as I got it on your mind, brother, get you a nice.
Oh, you got it on my mind, mate. Yeah, burger and a wing. Every time I speak to you, because you're from Kentucky, I always want to have a drink, a nice bourbon after.
Honestly, well, I do appreciate that, but honestly, I've never been able to. And everyone, Kentucky is bourbon country. We're known for bourbon horses and basketball. I've never been able to like the taste of bourbon. It's kind of been to me, it's like I don't know, it kind of burns, and I'm not a big fan of the flavor of it or anything like that. I mean, you would think I would just be born with it. It would just be in my bloodstream.
I thought it'd be like in your milk when you're a baby.
right. Maybe that's what happened. My mom didn't do that for me. But you got any shout outs, man, or anything that you want to talk about before we head out?
Shout out is to you, mate. Obviously doing a show with you, and it's just been a blast as usual. Shout out to the guys in the chat. You all know who you are, and I love chat with you on the other shows. And shout out to Aldo for letting us do the show today. So that's all my shouts, mate. And hope everybody has a good week, and let's hope the Bears carry on making these good decisions, which they seem to be doing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I mean, from what I can see at the top of the screen right now, we've got 33 listeners in here on a random Sunday where nothing's going on except March
Madness. Random guys.
right. Listen to the AC show. As you can see, I got me a new banner stuck on the bottom down there.
You've been waiting to do that, man. I reckon this has been a plan you've been doing for ages, knocking off the other guys on the network, the Barfly, knocking us off and all that. So it's the AC show.
Yeah, I just tell each one of them, look, man, don't worry about it this weekend. You just go ahead and take it easy, brother. Just take it easy. I've got it this weekend.
Well, I'll always be a guest, mate. Anyway, I'll always be happy to be a guest.
I like what Focheezy said here. If you guys could, if you're in here, smash the like.
Please do.
If you haven't subscribed to the Bears Ballroom already, go ahead and give us a subscription. And then we got everything. I mean, we got the Barfly Tailgate show where we come on here and just bullshit. The AC show. We've got Draft on Tap. If you guys love the draft, if draft is coming up, those guys, Danny and Neil, They're incredible. I don't listen live because it comes on so late, but I always listen the next day on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, they've now added to where you can rate us. They don't have a rate and review like the Apple iPod,
Right.
But they do have a rate, so you can go up there and give us a star rating. 5 stars would be great, but if you think we're more of a 3-star, then you go right ahead and give us whatever you feel like we deserve. But I feel like I deserve 5 stars. But
you're always 5-star, bro. You're always 5-star.
Yeah. Always 5-star, 5-star AC. That's what they call me.
That's why I like it, yeah.
Me and C-Dub over here.
Yeah, C-Dub.
But I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, Draft on Tap is great. They'll get you ready for the draft and what's going on there. You got Crosstown Crosstalk. We had an episode last week with Joe Mandel and Vinny Parisi. Got on there and talked about a little bit of Cubs, a little bit of White Sox, and baseball news in general. They're no longer locked out, so the season is coming, and the LA Dodgers is building the modern day Yankees out there, it seems like. So we'll see what they have to say about everything. Greg Gabriel was on yesterday, and I think he'll be on later on this week probably to talk about some free agents, talk about some of the behind the scene things that happen in the NFL world, because he was a former scout for the Chicago Bears, so he kind of knows. He'll pull back the curtain a little bit if you're a fan of that. We've got Bulls shows. We've got Blackhawks shows. I think it's called Bar Down Hockey Talk. I think they talk more about the league in general than they do the block. I'm not a huge hockey fan, so but if you are a hockey fan, if you guys are a hockey fan, hop on there, check those guys out for sure, and stay listening to the Barroom Network, because we've got so much information coming your way, and we always do our best to get that information out to you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everyone listening on Spotify, everyone listening on Apple, everyone listening on Twitch if you're on there, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you guys listen on. Shout out to y'all, and I appreciate it. And me and OC Dub here will get out of here with a big old bear down.
Bear down.
Now I gotta find this outro because I'm an idiot and didn't have it pulled up already.